Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and welcome to a Company of Heroes 2 Shoutcast. I am so excited today, not because I'm super thrilled about this match between Insane Ivan playing as the Germans and I Play Soviet I Suck, also known as FaHu, playing as the Soviets, but because ladders are in the game, or should I say on CoH2.org. Yes, that's right. Relic and CoH2.org have collaborated to finally get ladders in the game. Now you can finally tell how many games people have played, how many wins and losses. It's just the coolest thing ever. I am so thrilled. I'm more excited about CoH2 than I have been in a long time, and it wasn't even Relic that did it. So go figure it. Now, with the advantage of the ladder, I can now only cast games by people who are good at the game, which is nice. So I wrote down some stats so I can read them to you. FaHu, who is playing as the I Play Soviets I Suck, and also as the I Play Soviet I Suck. Well, normally he plays as Germans, okay? FaHu is ranked 195 out of everybody on the 1v1 German ladder, 62% win-loss ratio, not very bad. As Soviets, he's only 266, which is actually still, more than the vast majority of players, right? There's only 265 people better than FaHu as Soviets, but hasn't played as many games, and 56.8 win-loss ratio, or 0.568 win-loss ratio, obviously. So that's not so great. But I think he's been matched up against good people, because that's how the matchmaker's going. We're on Moscow outskirts, by the way, if you can't tell. Meanwhile, Insane Ivan, who normally plays as Soviets, is ranked 121 on the Soviet 1v1 ladder with a 64 win-loss ratio, 0.64. So that's pretty good. Almost in the top 100. Only at 574 on the Germans, because he basically never plays Germans. So there you go. There's some stuff. I'm probably going to get faster at doing that as things go on. And also, where's that button? Ah, yeah, look at this, up in the upper left. I don't think you need that, though. I just told you who they are. Insane Ivan, FaHu, also known as I Play Soviets I Suck. Also, you can say my mouse. I forgot to turn that on previous times. I bought a new capture thing. I bought a new program to record. Instead of Fraps, I'm using DX3, and DX3 is a lot better. Hopefully I'll be able to get the game sound working much better with DX3. So we're going to have our first engagement soon. I thought something was going to happen over here, but FaHu's sticking more to the middle of the map, not going to the outskirts, even though we're on Moscow outskirts. Ho, ho, ho! And Insane Ivan, happy to just set up on the left by the fuel, and more importantly by the VP. Not more importantly in terms of what you have to hold, but more importantly in terms of where do you think your opponent's going. He's just in the building. I'm not talking about, I'm not watching what I'm talking about right now. I'm watching this thing over here is what I'm talking about. But this house is not quite enough to hold on to the fuel. If your opponent's smart about how they approach it and get over from here, you're not going to be able to reach. And I think you can't fire through the wall either. But it is enough to sort of get sight on it so you know when they're coming. And also, if they're coming from their side of the map, they're likely to hit machine gun team that the South player sets up there, which is good. So that's how you hold on to that fuel sort of as a South player, especially as the Osthair with the MG42. And here's a fight. One of the changes I don't like from the original Company Heroes was, in the original Company Heroes, you knew who was going to win at close range, okay? Riflemen typically going to win at close range, Focus Grenadier is going to win at long range. In CoH2, they're basically all as good as each other at every range. Conscript's a bit better up close, it seems like, but I think that might mostly be random. In this case, Conscripts are going to lose just because there's a second Grenadier squad here. These guys doing a little hoppity-jumpity on the death. But it's interesting that FaHu's sticking around here so much to contest this point. With such resiliency. He's taking a lot of losses, obviously, but he's doing this just to stall his opponent's people, and also waiting to learn from Molotov because he knew he'd be able to push them off. That was a good decision by FaHu. That was actually pretty risky, almost lose the squad, but actually these guys were probably going to run away anyways. But he did, by pushing them off, he does make sure they're not able to cap, and since FaHu has no presence in the middle of this map, you notice, except for these two conscripts cutting in, Insane Ivan could have used this Grenadier squad to capture something. So that's the thing with low health squads. You don't want to automatically retreat them. Think about trying to capture something on the map before you have to retreat. Take as long as you can before you have to retreat. Not always. Don't always take as long as you can. Sometimes it's much better to reinforce them super early. That's a nice Molotov dodge there. Sometimes it's good to reinforce them as early as possible to get them back in the field and fighting, but it's not always the right choice. So don't just hit the retreat button just because you're beat up. Grenadier is being forced to reposition all the time, which is unfortunate because then they can't use their fancy LMG, but that's okay. Insane Ivan doesn't mind. He's going to get his MG42 set up, totally going to catch both these conscripts unless he gets a nice Ura, but he'd have to run through the flames, and yep, that's really bad now for FaHu, and in fact he has to retreat because there's no way he can walk out of this suppression, it looks like. So he's got a fairly good hold on the map, but it's evaporating right now as Insane Ivan moves over on the left and is going to spread out to the right. And let's look at the teching choices for players. So FaHu's going for Tier 1 as Soviets, and Insane Ivan has gone for Tier 1 as the Auster. And looks like he's heading up to Tier 2. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm ready to give up calling this Tier 1, Tier 0, Tier -1. It's so hard. I want to call the thing with a 1 on it a Tier 1. That's just how my brain works. But I also don't want to call the HQ Tier -1. Even though it's funny, the chief reason I do this is because it's funny. But in any case, he's going up to the thing where he's going to be able to get like half-tracks and stuff. But the question is he going to get half-tracks, or is he going to go up to Tier 2 or Tier 3, whatever you want to call it, get those Panzer IVs out. But anyways, we do have Tier 1 from the Soviets, so probably going to see maybe a clown car if we switch over to FaHu. And yes, we do have a clown car being built at this point. So the question is he going to be able to use this clown car to exert some map control, to get some map control? I'm not sure exert is the right word there, because at this point the Germans, the Auster player, is doing a nice job of setting up. This is some long range of the machine gun. Maybe you can protect this thing with a machine gun if you can shoot over this. I'm sure some guy in the top of this house could shoot over this little window, could definitely get over this. So the question is, would the MG42 swap there automatically? Here we go with the Ura, just being used to repositioning quickly, and also going to get him in range to throw a Molotov. Going to force the reposition because Insane Ivan knows a Molotov's coming if he just stays still, and that again will negate the LMG42. Ivan doesn't mind much, he can just pull back to this HMG, but he needs to get these Grenadiers slightly over this capture zone so they can take the thing. You gotta do it. Here's the clown car. What's it gonna use in it? Obviously, flame engineers. So here, the big question is not what he techs to now, because he teched to a scout car. The question is what he techs to after the scout car. He's got 100 fuel hanging out down here, so we should expect to see the Soviet player tech to something at some point, unless he wants to be reactionary against the Auster teching, or dump it into more clown cars. Oof! Engineer goes down and then does a sad flippity dance to celebrate. Seems like ragdolls are pretty glitchy in this match, but that's okay. I don't care. It's just funny. And Soviet's not doing a bad job getting out on the map, capping that fuel back from the Auster. Spreading out all over. You see there's flashing stuff all over because the Soviets haven't yet been able to link it up. But that was a bold attack with these conscripts. He was like, you want to Molotov it, which is funny. And he Molotov the exit, I think. That's a weird fake out, because if you Molotov... No, I think the Molotov went in the building and the exit. Yeah, the building looks like it's on fire. So you don't want to just Molotov the exit, then your opponent can just like knock it out. Or get back in once they stand in the fire. Because if they... The thing about throwing a grenade at the exit to try and catch your opponent is that you throw it at the exit and then they're like, they see the grenade coming and think it's going in the building, so they hop out and they get killed. That doesn't work for a Molotov so much because the damage is over time, not instantly. So even if you catch them, they'll just get back inside. Whatever. Scout car beat up but not dead. It's these people trying to repair it, but it's got to get here first so they can cap while repairing. Yeah, I want to see some teching from the Auster is the thing. We're watching for... Oh, we got the teching. Okay, look, it's the thing. It's the Tier 1 and the half-track and the scout cars. So it's going to be a scout car to counter the clown cars. Nothing surprising about that. German players seeming surprisingly fuel-starved. I guess that's what the teching up cost. And doctrine choice for the Soviets is this thing. You get the shock troops and the conscript repair grade. What's interesting about the shock troops is that you don't get the AT from the Guards Rifle, especially not the AT from the Guards Rifle in the clown car. So we're going to have to see what the Soviet player does for the AT. Upgrades AT grenades at the HQ just right now, so that's a good choice if any enemy vehicles show up. And also, I would like to see usage of mines from the Soviet player. We have down to 75 munitions. What did you just spend it on? Who spent the munitions on what? We may never know. What is there to spend munitions on at this point? Did he throw? He must have thrown a Molotov somewhere. Whatever. We have, yeah, so we have very little AT from the Soviet. I would like to see him lay some mines. Mines are great AT against the Germans, especially against their light vehicles. This thing runs over a mine. It's going to be GG. I guess he threw an AT grenade. Okay, at this. That's where his munitions went, so I wasn't watching this closely enough. Here we go. We're going to maybe move in on the enemy scout car with the M3A1 light scout car. This thing can do damage to this thing. It's got a gun on the front and a gun on the back, which can really hurt this. But they have to be facing. They don't have a turret such that they can do these things. Needs to get the flank on this MG at the very least so these flames can kill it. No, he's repairing right now. Focus fire. Oh, they're dead. Huh. I almost would have focus fired the Pioneers before throwing that AT grenade, just because things when they're repairing take like super mega damage. Doesn't matter. LOL, clown car. But things repairing and things laying wire and laying mines, people engaged in sort of non-combatant pursuits take like, laying sandbags, jerking off, anything like this, they'll take huge extra damage. So focus fire them as soon as you see them, just to, you'll probably get some lucky critical hits. They won't even be lucky, they'll be sort of sensible critical hits and you'll melt them. Interesting, nice job hopping out with this combat engineer squad while this thing escapes. He gets the flank in on this MG, but he just can't do enough damage with the scout car shooting at him. Which is funny because the scout car doesn't do a lot of damage. Let's swap over to Ivan. Still not a ton of fuel, having built his second scout car. He's gone for this mortar half-track, smoke bomb, relief infantry, artillery, and sector arty. So, did he just buy? No, he didn't buy one of these things. He just spent his manpower on reinforcements? No, he's going up. I was like, what's he building? Because there's nothing up here. We're going to battle phase 2. They are losing a sector. I was doing a Yoda voice to myself the other day, so that hopefully there will be an excuse sometime in this Shoutcast to drop some Yoda wisdom, because I think I sounded sort of like Yoda. It's tough to know what your voice sounds like just talking to yourself, but I record myself a lot, so I sort of know what I sound like. The answer is not very good. So up to tier 3 from the Soviets, so 1 to 3 not as common as 1 to 4. The reason you go 1 to 4 is to grab your Su-85. But 1 to 3 is nice for the fast T-70 or even a nice T-34 if you want. He's got, well, I don't know. It's, I'm confused as to what he's going to do for his AT. He's just lucky at this point. The Germans haven't built anything heavier than scout cars. I think dumping too much into scout cars for these Germans. They're trying to fight off the clown car play from the Soviets, but honestly, you just need to be good enough to fight off the scout car play with one scout car, the clown car play with one scout car. You don't want to dump all your fuel into that, because that just gives the Soviets way too much breathing room, as we see at this point. Shock troops trying to own some face. They're not going to be able to take shots from 3 conscript squads forever, though. And they're gone. Have these shock troops done a goddamn thing? No, they haven't done a goddamn thing. They've just been capping stuff. I want to see the shock troops fighting. Shock troops are badass. They're one of the most powerful infantry units of the game close up. Especially now that they come with PPSHs automatically without doing anything. How do you follow people? It used to be really easy, you just double click on them. Anyways, where's the thing? There's the thing. So here's the shock troops being the badasses like I told you they were. Look at those badasses down to half health with 1 dead. That's exactly what a badass squad does. Get itself owned. Oh look, more shock troops. These ones are legitimate badasses. Are they gonna come in and own the... They're just taking too much damage, though. You don't want to run up to an LMG squad, even the best of... Oh, no, what is that? You rifle grenaded your own man! No. He was trying to predict where the shock troops are going. Like, here's my prediction. They're not going literally, like, onto you. Nice setup of this MG. I'm surprised the Russian didn't try and maneuver around that, maybe hop the fence or something, because he just catches them straight up. Wow, that was a hell of an oorah right into the middle of here. I'm not sure why he thought that would work, and he pays for it with a squad. That was brazen, unfortunate, and we lost a shock troop squad. Where?
Fresh meat has arrived.
I have no idea. How did that shock troop squad die? You know, if this were StarCraft 2, I could rewind and find out. If this were Dota 2, I could also rewind and find out. And you can rewind and find it actually on YouTube if you pay attention to the minimap, but I'm fucked. So there you go. T-34 needs to be squishing. Needs to be squishing. You need to squish. Is it your that's incorrect. You don't show your butt. This is no. He's really lucky he didn't need a Faust. Germans just no munitions. What have they been spending it on? Is just map control hasn't been good. The Soviets been too good about capturing stuff back from the Germans. Look at this. He's having to cap this right now. Really nice job, I think, from the Soviets contesting the map at this point. And I think if he ends up winning, or even if he doesn't end up winning, that's been really good for him so far. He's even got the VP lead, 395 to 440, and he takes out a squad with the T-34. Now it's time to come in and crush this squad. It's only got one man. You can't shoot over the base building, so you can't just sort of camp outside. And they're nice job hopping in the medic bunker. That's really smart, so you can't get squished or shot. This is bad for the Germans, though. What's he gonna... He's got his tier 4, or sorry, tier 2. I'm calling it tier 2. He's got his tier 2 up, and he's building a Stug, just panicking. He's got the 95 fuel for a Stug, not the... Well, he does have the 115 for a Panzer IV. I don't know why he's building a Stug. I guess he figures, look, I just need some quick AT. He's not going to circle strafe me because I'm going to come in literally off the edge of the map. So I should be good. This T-34 is just wrecking face. Needs to crush a bitch. I want to see the T-34-76 crush a bitch. So, this thing wasn't running away so fast. Should have maybe been assigned to the Soviets. That look at the camo on both these things. I like it. This is sort of the acid frog, the hypnotoad camo. This is sort of a more muted thing. I'm really surprised the T-34 hasn't done anything in response to the Stug. He must be busy microing elsewhere, because as soon as you see that Stug, you have to get the hell out. Like, this is far too late. Stug's an infantry squad's been killed. German just lost somebody somewhere. There's too much stuff going on. Maybe he's microing the Stug. I don't know who's dead. This T-34 is probably dead now, right? It's trying for the circle strafe, so that's admirable, but that's not happening because he got Fausted as soon as the Stug got on the field. That was a good move here, using these grenadiers to Faust, and now it's over. The Panzerfaust icon just looks really weird to me. I know the front is like a shaped charge, sort of like a football. It just always looks like a circle to me. It looks like a stupid circle with a stick sticking at the back. Like, the perspective is just weird. They picked the worst perspective, I think, for a Panzerfaust. It should just be... There are like 8 Panzerfaust logos they could have that would look better than this thing. It just looks like a weird stick ball. And okay, I'll stop complaining. So now we have a Stug, and this is the time for the Germans to turn it around. I sincerely doubt he's going to be able to. We look at the Soviet player building another T-34, which is probably a good choice at this point. You can go up to an Su-85 or something, which is the eventual end game we want for the Soviets. But honestly, if your opponents dump most of their AT fuel into a Stug, just anything that can circle strafe will do it. An Su-85 can win the one-on-one fight without circle strafing, and in fact, it's not going to have the option to circle strafe. But it's going to take some serious damage. Just the much safer option is to circle strafe these things. So he'll just build himself a T-34, get ready for the Stug to move out onto the field, overextend itself, and then circle, ring around the Stugy. And that'll be good. Don't do this, run away from the grenadiers with the LMG, run towards them. But obviously, microing somewhere else. We have somebody throwing a grenade at somebody else. Oh, I'm sure it's over here. So here's an interesting fight. Double vet versus double vet. Probably the LMG-42 is going to win, but they choose to reposition. Maybe they were a little in the flames. And so now the conscripts, if they get a few lucky hits, they could take them out. But nope. The LMG is just more guaranteed damage because it fires so often. Oh man, conscript squad down. Vet 2 conscript squad down. Unit preservation really needs some work, I think, from both these players, but especially the Soviets. It seems like they're just using infantry squads left and right. The Germans have been losing lots of infantry squads too, but mostly that's from the T-34 just owning face. And oh. You just lost your flamethrower engineer squad. To recrew the MG, that's a... can't agree with that one. I guess you just really want that MG. It's nice to deprive your opponent of it, but now he has nothing to put inside the clown car, right? We swap over to FaHu. He has no squads to put inside the clown car. These guys have to get a flamethrower now, although he's got the munitions. Again, I'd like to see some mines. That would just, like, cripple this Stug. A Stug without an engine... without a fast engine, which is going to be what happens when it runs over mine, is just like completely unable to shut down the circle strafing. Unless it's like literally in a corner, it's never ever going to be able to turn fast enough to catch up with someone, even if the micro's pretty bad. Here's a T-34. It's a woman T-34. Cruel loaded and ready. So yeah, looking like pretty good Soviet domination. Not domination in the sense that just like rolling over his opponent, but winning in that sense. 440 VPs to 290 VPs. Germans, how what's he doing fuel wise? 70 fuel, so He's saving up for something, but he's just got no map control. Doesn't have this fuel. Obviously doesn't have this fuel. Finally has this munitions, but it's just going to be tough for the Germans to claw their way back in. They've got the manpower, and if they keep killing Soviet infantry squads, maybe this could happen. The Soviets just really low on infantry, so that's going to be what it takes for the Germans to come back, or at least what it takes for the Germans to stay in this game as long as they have. I'd love to see this T-34 crush some people. I can understand being cautious, given that there's a Stug out on the field hunting out and about. But, you know, I'd like to see him try to squish people, or, as Yoda would say, no, I can't do the voice. I can feel it in my throat. It's not going to work if I do the Yoda voice. He would say do it or not. There is no try. So that was an interesting AT grenade. Man, wow. Way to give up this MG that you basically just sacrificed the squad for. So I like the AT grenade on this Stug. He cripples it so that his T-34 can move in. This repair is not going to work. Something that is rotating cannot be repaired because that's how Company Heroes works. Folks, this circle strafe needs to continue, and it does. He's busy microing over here, perhaps, trying to get out of the building. He's got the setup bug. Now he's got the reload the thing bug. It's not a bug, they're just reloading. But there's a nice MG set up by the Germans, but he's got bigger things to worry about. This T-34 is destroying him. Unfortunate that it hit the wall right here, but now it's finally going to kill the Stug and another hitter. So nice crush on these people. When they're trying to repair, they're just going to run back and forth like this, and they're not going to do a very good job of avoiding enemy vehicles, if at all. Their avoid our own vehicle takes precedence over the pathfinding for avoiding an enemy vehicle, I think, so that just makes them easier to crush. The German player really ought not to have let his pioneers be in that eternal dance. It just wasn't, man, whoo, this thing's dead. So that's a dead engineer squad that didn't get him anything that he used to recrew this thing, that didn't get him anything. So never just let if you know your Stug is going to be constantly circling around, it's not going to get repaired. So just stop trying to repair it, or tell it to halt position and let him try and repair it. And I think that won't even work, because there's no way to tell a unit to halt position forever, just like temporarily stop. Right? You can just keep telling them stop, and they won't move forward or back, but they will rotate on their axis, which means if there's an enemy vehicle around them that they're trying to shoot, or an enemy anything, it's impossible to repair, which is a nice little tip. If you want to keep your opponent from repairing their Stug or something, just drive around it, and it'll be forced to move itself to attack you, and it won't be able to be repaired. So even if there's trivial engine damage on it, that engine will never be fixed until the threat is gone. What's his name? FaHu taking full advantage of that. Crush, crush, crush! Or shoot. But crush, please. Look, when they're clumped up against this thing like this territory point, it's even easier to crush them, because you wedge them in between. You drive around the outside of the territory point and then angle in quickly towards the territory point, and the units get caught between a rock and a hard place. And as happened all the time in legitimate World War II, they get crushed on the very flag they were trying to raise. How poetically apt. And now the Germans are fucked. Their last chance is to get another Stug. That's really unfortunate. And this Pack 40 might actually work, but it's gonna be a temporary thing, I think. I'd be really surprised to see the Soviets lose it at this point. A while ago, they teched up to Tier 4. He's free to build an Su-85 whenever he wants. He's building it right now. Floating 600 manpower, 400 munitions. Really ought to be laying some mines. It's always a good use of munitions, and I know it's hard to remember. And also, he's lost most of his engineer squads. But look, they're here. They're on the front lines. Dropping the mines. I want to cast a match on Longreskaya, by the way, but there's no replays up from that are worth casting. So if you're one of the top CoH2 players, send me your Longreskaya replays, winter or summer. I'll do whatever you want, probably summer. But yeah, and if you're not, then go suck a dick, scrub. I'm kidding. I like everybody. But the reason I don't cast as many noob replays is because it's more fun to watch people who know what they're doing. But I cast noob replays. Yeah, if you have a long replay and you're not very good at the game, send it to me. It'll be a noob cast. It'll be cool. Let me know where it is. Up, here comes the Stug. Where's the pack? There's the pack, setting up, like, totally in the wrong direction. I guess it was getting moving. So, yeah, so he's just gonna play it cautious, gonna pull out. He's got his Su-75 on the field, so all it is a matter of, oh, and he's got a sniper too. All it is a matter of just bringing the Su-75, Su-85, why did I call it that? An Su-85 to bear on the Stug, maybe circle strafe it with the T-34 while he wants his clown cars at Vet 2, so it's really nice that he's managed to keep this thing alive for so long. And this is gonna be GG, I think, as soon as the Germans lose their tank, because yeah, it's just gonna be like another like 40 fuel at least before he replaces this thing if it dies. So yeah, German's been on the back foot. I think the lesson here is harass your opponent's points. The Soviet player, even with their bad unit preservation, was able to win this thing really by capturing a lot of the points on the map and just depriving the Germans of so many resources, so many fuel, that they had to resort to buying the shitty Stug instead of getting a Panzer IV legitimate tank that would have helped them out quite a bit. T-34 versus a Panzer IV, the first fight down here, it would not have been T-34 victory, it would have been Panzer IV victory probably, and the fight up here, well, it's not going on right now, but generally the fight over here, it would not be sort of Stug has to hold back till the Pak-40 is able to help. It would be Panzer IV can just own up the T-34. It's not a foregone conclusion, but typically Panzer IV is going to win versus the T-34. So yeah, that's my analysis of the match. Soviet player needs to do better unit preservation, but aside from that, things are working well. It's possible the German player just didn't make right teching choices, right? I think he dumped a little too much into the scout cars, overestimated the amount of clown car spam he was going to see from the Soviets, which I guess is understandable in the metagame, but he definitely overestimated that, and he was a sniper. And so dumped too much fuel, I think, into these scout cars. He's got this one still alive, but you see it's only got 2 kills. It's been alive for like a long time. He could, whoa, and it's killed in 1 shot from the SU from like a screen away. Ridiculous. Preposterous. And now the Su-85 is shooting like more than a screen away against Stug, and here comes the T-34 coming in. Circle strafe, we have some sort of artillery coming in, I think I saw. Where's the Pak? The Pak has been decrewed long ago. I guess he sent in some people. Main gun is, okay, that's gonna be GG. So, that was a fun match, and yeah, maybe teching choices. God, the noise. So playback's over. German quit. I think teching choices from the German player could have potentially been better. Too much into the scout cars and not enough into saving for a Panzer IV. Had to end up doing an emergency Stug. Didn't work out. Could have maybe thought about stopping off at Pak-40 instead of going up to an emergency Stug. Probably would have helped against T-34. It just did so much damage. And that's that. If you enjoyed this video, then don't chop your hand off.